Good evening, fellow consumers. By a show of hands, how many of you have felt overwhelmed at the supermarket by all the choices provided to you? How many of you have experienced distrust in your food suppliers? I think a growing number of people would agree with those of you who raised their hands. I share your concern, but I have even more concern about what's causing it and how little is being done to alleviate it. Media exposés about agriculture, such as Food Inc. and the recent ABC Nightline episode about the dairy industry, feed our fears by telling us partial truths. They play on our emotions to create even more distrust between us, the consumers, and the farmers whose job it is to feed the world. As most of you know, I'm both a conscientious consumer and a food supplier. I grew up on a 50-cow dairy in Pennsylvania, and I have worked on several larger operations of over 1,000 cows in California, New York, and here in Wisconsin. I consider myself an avid dairy consumer, a health fanatic, an environmentalist, and a biologist. My conscience demands reconciliation between food consumers and producers, and I believe education is the key to this reconciliation. The media's alarmist images and information that have been widely propagated lately only tell a small part of the story. While it is a sad fact that animal abuse does occur, repeatedly showing one unfortunate incident where one worker was beating one cow over and over again makes us believe that this is the rule and not the exception. I would like to take a few minutes to address the animal welfare issues, hormone use, and organic production in the dairy industry from the perspective of a farmer and a scientist. The media would like us to believe that farmers are only concerned with profits these days and therefore care very little about animal welfare. I'm here to tell you that this statement is a complete oxymoron. Dairymen are also businessmen, so of course they care about their profit. And because they are concerned with the bottom line, the welfare of their cows is of utmost concern. A dirty, unhealthy cow is highly likely to contract mastitis, an inflammation of the udder. This causes her to give less milk of a lower quality. She may need antibiotics to treat her inflammation. The farmer must not only purchase these, but also discard the milk due to FDA drug residue laws. A successful farmer knows that 1 ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That is why he strives to keep his animals well nourished, clean, and stress-free to avoid extra costs. If the conditions shown on TV are the norm, farmers would be out of business. The term factory farms has become a buzzword that induces fear. These farms are a product of the drive for efficiency and the free market in which we operate. The bigger the farm gets, the more efficient it must get to survive. For these farms, preventing illness and stress is the key factor to maximizing production. Can you imagine how costly it would be to treat thousands of cows for mastitis and other diseases? These so-called factory farmers avoid this at all costs by implementing rigorous plans for keeping a clean, healthy environment and happy, productive cows. While it is true that California's happy cows most likely do not live in the idyllic conditions portrayed in the commercials, be assured that they're still happy. When cows are stressed, they do not eat. When they do not eat, they do not produce milk, and that will be a very poor business plan indeed. So let me take a moment to speak to the issue of RBST, which stands for recombinant bovine somatotropin, or growth hormone. You may have seen the labels on your milk jugs claiming that the milk is RBST free, and like many consumers concluded that RBST is undesirable. I would like to dispel some of the myths about BST. I believe that people that feel strongly against it are mostly afraid of another buzzword, hormone, and are lacking the facts. BST is a hormone, like many other hormones, that occurs naturally in the cow. Farmers simply supplement cows with this hormone to help them sustain milk until they have another calf and renew their mammary cells to start a fresh lactation. Without this technology, cows would be under more stress because the farmer would need to induce pregnancy more often to maintain an efficient operation. In addition, BST helps the cow when she needs it most. If she's undernourished, it helps her become better nourished. If she's stressed, it helps alleviate stress, and in both those cases would not increase milk production. So it's not a band-aid that we can apply to a problematic farm. It only works under the best conditions when cows are well nourished and stress-free, and then will help them to increase milk production and sustain it longer. So BST is also environmentally friendly because it helps us use less cows and therefore less resources to produce the same amount of milk. This effectively reduces our carbon footprint, or maybe I should say hoofprint. Other countries, such as Canada and the UK, have banned the use of BST not because it is unhealthy, but because they have a set milk quota, and using this technology would cause a milk surplus that would upset their economy. So what about human health concerns? Well, there has always been BST in your milk because it comes from the cow naturally, and it has never been a problem because of two things. Number one, it is a protein hormone, and number two, it's species specific. So what does this mean? Being a protein hormone means that it is a string of amino acids that becomes dissociated by digestion in the human body. So when BST enters your intestine, it ceases to be a hormone and is reduced to the amino acids that are the building blocks of all proteins. Even if that didn't happen, the B in BST stands for bovine. So it is different from human growth hormone and would not be active in our bodies even if we bypassed digestion and injected it into our bloodstreams. Finally, while the BST-free labels might make some people feel more secure, it is a false security blanket. In fact, recombinant BST is functionally indistinguishable from natural BST, and it is therefore impossible to test for its presence. Another label you might see on your dairy products is certified organic. While you've heard about many benefits of organic farming, I would like to warn you about a few negatives of organic dairying. So growing up, I thought of my cows as members of the family. If they got sick, I would want them to have the best treatment possible. If we were an organic farm, it would be impossible because natural remedies are seldom as effective as antibiotics. So cows that get sick on organic operations either contribute to more disease shedding in the milk or are disposed of. Most successful organic operations simply ship their cows to conventional facilities where drugs can be used to treat them. The whole system seems a little bit hypocritical to me. And while raw vegetables are quite healthy, be very wary of raw milk. Milk that is unpasteurized can contain E. coli and other disease-causing organisms, such as the one that causes tuberculosis. I know that the food supply isn't perfect, and the movie Food Inc. makes some very valid points. At the end of the movie, the farmer urges consumers, demand wholesome food, and we will deliver. So the take-home message that I would like to leave you with is to learn the whole truth and make educated demands. As a consumer, the choice is in your hands, so choose wisely. And for more information on these topics, please visit terryetherton.org, which is a blog about food safety and biotechnology by a Penn State dairy scientist, and itisafact.org, the official website of the American Farmers for the Advancement and Conservation of Technology. Thank you.